Hi, I'm JD, and in this lecture we're going to look at evaluating polynomials. All right, so let's start with some definitions related to polynomials. And let me use my laser pointer. So this would be what standard form is for a polynomial. So it's where everything is in descending order and your exponents are also descending. So this would be standard form. Now, in order for it to be a polynomial, these have to be whole numbers, the powers. If you have fractions or things funny with the powers, then it's not a polynomial. But the coefficients, the numbers in front of the variable portion, can be any number, any real number. And so that would make it a polynomial. So what is a degree? So a degree of a term would be the exponent. If you have multiple exponents, you actually add the powers. But this would be, degree of this term would be 3, this would be 2, this would be 1, and then this has a degree, this -7 right here, has a degree of 0. Now you have terms. Terms are anything that's separated by a minus sign or a plus sign. So we have 4 terms here. Coefficient already explains, that's the number in front of the variable. Variable, I just explained that, variable. The constant is whatever does not have a variable attached to it. So this -7 would be your constant. The leading coefficient, when it's in descending order, it is the number that's in front of, if you look at all the degrees of these variable terms, these terms, then the highest one, the number that's in front, is the leading coefficient. The degree of the polynomial would be the highest out of all the powers. So this has 1, 2, and then the highest one would be 3. So the degree of the polynomial is 3. Monomial, binomial, and trinomial. Monomial means one term, like a monorail or monocle. A binomial would be 2 terms. So like bicycle, 2 wheels. So binomial. Trinomial would mean 3 terms, like a triceratops or tricycle or trike. So this has more than 3 terms, so this would be none of the above. It would still be a polynomial because polynomial just means many, like polymer means many, so it just means many terms. All right, so we looked at some definitions. Let's look at evaluating a polynomial. So when it comes to evaluating a polynomial, all you're doing is substitution. So if you remember, this is f of x. So let's look at letter A. So f of x equals 3x plus 5. So I rewrote it. Now let's say that f of -2. So this would be the same as saying that x equals -2. And you're just doing substitution. So it would be 3 times, you would just replace the x with -2. So then you do the order of operations. So that would be 3 times -2, which is -6. Then you add 5, which then gives you -1. So you could say, remember this whole thing is the same as y. So f of -2 equals -1, or you can say, as a point, -2 comma -1 because your x is the -2 and your y is the -1. So all you're doing with these when they tell you to evaluate is substitution, and you just do the OR of operations. So let's look at letter B. So you have f of x equals 2x squared minus 7x plus 3. We have f of -2, so I'm replacing x with -2. And then you follow the order of operations. So we're going to square the -2 first. That gives us 4. If you have a scientific calculator, you can just plug it in there. It will do the order of operations for you. So then you have 2 times 4, which is 8. -7 times -2, this ends up being a positive, so it would be a plus 14, and then plus 3. Continue with order of operations. We did exponents, then we did multiplication from left to right. Now we're doing addition, subtraction from left to right. So it's 8 plus 14 plus 3, which gives us 25. So f of -2 equals 25, or you can write it as a point, -2 comma 25. So when they tell you to evaluate, all you're doing is substitution. Right, so now let's look at operations of polynomials. These are all things that you've seen before. So addition, you're combining like terms. Subtraction, you're distributing negative. You distribute the negative and then you combine like terms. Multiplication is distributive property, and let me go back. There we go. And division is the distributive property, but with fractions. So it's things that you've seen before. Nothing new, just the way that the directions are telling you to do. But it's all the same things from before. All right, so with addition, so let's do letter A first. So letter A is x squared minus 9x plus, and you kind of see what plus 6 plus 2x minus 5. When it's addition, you can just drop the parentheses, and it's just a matter of combining like terms. So I'm going to rearrange them. So I have x squared minus 9x plus 2x plus 6 minus 5. Then combine like terms. So that would be x squared minus 9x plus 2x is minus 7x plus 6 minus 5. That will give you plus 1. When you do this, take the operation that's in, or the sign that's in front of it. Now you can't go any further because x squared and the x and no x, they're all unlike terms. So you're actually done. All right, let's look at letter B now. Letter B is subtraction. So what you want to do first is you want to distribute the negative to both the 5x and to the 7. So that's going to change the signs. They're both positive, so that's a minus 5x minus 7. Now what you want to do is you want to combine like terms, and you can either rearrange it or you can just underline the like terms. So I can underline the 5x and the minus 5x, and then the minus 7, sorry, the negative 7 and the minus 7. Again, just take the signs of whatever is in front. So 3x minus 5x is negative 2x. Negative 7 minus 7 is minus 14. Pretty easy. So with the addition, you can just drop the parentheses and then combine like terms. Remember, when you're combining like terms, they have to be the variable portion has to be exactly the same. With subtraction, it's pretty much the same as addition. You just have to distribute the negative sign first. And then once you do that, you combine like terms. All right, so let's do some multiplication. So multiplication, you just use the distributive property. So I'm going to take the 5x and I'm going to distribute it to the 2x cubes, which means I'm multiplying the two. And then I'm going to do the same thing with 5x to the 3x, distribute that, which would be 5x times 3x. You can rewrite it like this if you want. Usually I just skip this step and just go straight to the answer. But you can write this. I just wanted to show you what was going on. So you would then, you're multiplying it to each term, and so this is multiplication, so you would multiply the numbers together and multiply the variables together. So 5 times 2 would be 10, and then x times x cubed is x to the 4th, and then 5x times 3x, 5 times 3 is 15, x times x is x squared. You're just, when you multiply exponents together, you just add the powers. So that'd be 1 plus 3, and that's where the 4 is coming from. This is 1 plus 1 for the powers. When there's no power there, it's implied that there's a 1. So you're just adding 1 plus 1, which is 2. All right, let's look at another example. So here, this is, you're still using the distributive property. So you're going to take the 5x and distribute to both the 2x and to the minus 3, and then you're going to do the same thing with the 6. Distribute that to the 2x and the minus 3. So you distribute the 5x and you distribute the 6. So 5x times 2x, 5x times the negative 3, 6 times 2x, and then 6 times negative 3. And then combine where you can. So 5x times 2x is 10x squared. 3 times 5x is 15x. 6 times 2x is 12x. And then 3 times 6 is the 18. Or minus 18. Now combine like terms. So I can combine these middle terms. Negative 15x plus 10x would give me negative 3x. Bring everything else down. They're unlike terms, so you're done. So now let's move to the division. So you're told to divide 16y cubed minus 8y squared plus 6y. Divide that by 2y. So what you want to do first is just rewrite this first part. This is what's called the dividend, and this is your divisor. So take your dividend, just rewrite it like that, and then with this divisor, put everything over that because you're dividing it by 2y. Or you're multiplying it by the reciprocal. You're multiplying each of these terms by 1 over 2y. So, but all you would do is just divide each one of these by 2y. So just rewrite it as a fraction like that. And then cancel out where you can. So 16 over 2 is 8, y cubed over y. This is the quotient rule of exponents, so you would subtract 3 minus 1 is 2. This would be minus 4y, because again you're subtracting. The y's cancel out here. Negative 6 over 2 is negative 3. That should be a negative. Negative. There we go. that's fixed. So it should be a -3, because a negative divided by a positive is a negative. All right, and that's it. So what did we do? We evaluated polynomials. We went over some definitions. We actually evaluated a polynomial, which just means substitution. And then we looked at operations of polynomials. And with operations of polynomials, those were things that you've seen before. So that included, let's see if I did a little thing here. So with operations, that included addition, which is just, you can just drop the parentheses, combine like terms. Subtraction, you distribute the negative to that second parentheses, whatever is after the negative sign, you distribute by just changing the signs. And then you combine like terms. We saw with multiplying polynomials, it's just using the distributive property, which we have seen before. And when it's 2 terms by 2 terms, or any more terms, it's an extension of the distributive property. You take that first parenthesis and whatever terms that are in there, you distribute to the second parenthesis. And then we also looked at division, and what you can do with division is rewrite each of those terms as fractions and then simplify them. And that's it. That marks the end of this video. Please like, share, and subscribe. And if you have any questions, put them in the comments below. Thank you, and I hope you have a wonderful weekend.